any entrepreneurs who has any kind of inventory, not just Floral inventory, they can use our premium program to add new inventory or use the one that we already have. So let's go ahead and take a look at how we get to the inventory itself first, and then how we can interact with the inventory. We want to head over to the upper left hand corner where the setting gear is. Then click on the setting gear, click on company settings, and then go ahead down to the template and library. Within the template and library, you're going to see inventory library. In the inventory library, when you get your account, it will be blank. It will not load anything. Right now it's loading because I have added the inventory. Let me go ahead and walk you through a couple of things. If you see this view and you are saying, hey, I don't know the name of the item, as you see, it just popped up. That's number way of doing it. Number two is a grid view, which is right here on the upper right hand corner. So you can look at the grid view. In the grid view, you can see smaller image and the name of the item and all other information. If you want to edit the inventory, you need to click on the edit button, just as throughout the program. When you click on it, it will expand into a lot more information. And I will review this in a little bit. We're going to go back. So when your account is completely blank and you may be like, oh my gosh, there is no inventory. No worries, guys, we got you. So right next to this setting gear, there is a button that says Import TCP Inventory. TCP is our short nickname for True Client Pro. So go ahead and click on that. Any new inventory that we have added, it will show up here. So always check in a month or 2 or 3. If we find something that's very useful, we're always adding it. And I do this myself, but I do it with a golf course, the fake grass. And this person had recommended that they use drawer non-slip roll to place for transportation so things don't slide in the car. And I'm like, how ingenious. So I decided to add this in. So if I find something useful, we're always adding it. We're always sharing knowledge. So you'll see some items and you just want to question yourself, hey, what do you do with that? So you'll see our new inventory added. And if you like those inventory, all you have to do is choose a couple of them, or you can choose all of them, whatever works for you, and then click on this button, Import. When you click on the button Import, it will give you this message. Now, if this is your very first time, it will not tell you it's successfully imported within a minute, because we have close to 3,000 items in the system itself, which does take a lot of time for all the information to populate. So this is something you absolutely want to go ahead and do. Okay, so once you've done imported the inventory, let's go ahead and take a look at what you can change on the existing inventory that's here. Then I'm going to walk you through how to add a new inventory and further customize it. So let's go ahead and do the grid view and click on the ageratum. Oh, sorry, this is Agapanthus. In Agapanthus, so if you have a specific spelling or another name that you want to add, go ahead and add that. I highly, highly, highly recommend that start the word. So if it's roses and let's say it's Darcy, just don't write Darcy, write down Garden Rose Darcy. Why? Because you're going to be able to find those items, all the garden roses together, and you can still search for the word garden rose and not just Darcy if you didn't remember. So we try to tag them that way. So this is your item name. Once you choose the item name, you can say which category does it belong to, and where all of this information is coming is the part that's customizable under the customizable field, not here. And I am going to walk you through that. So it is a bloom, and then within the bloom, is it a flower or filler or fern? So we know it's a flower. So I'm going to put it as a flower. Then how do I buy this item? I get it by bunch. I mean, if you're buying it by box because that's what you're using a lot, by all means change this. This is customizable. What is the element? Element is equivalent to a tag. So when you're looking for something, you can find things by the tag and by color. Shape is not that important, but you can add it. The more you add, anytime you add an inventory, the better it is. And our inventory is generally there with good amount of information, but if we're missing something, please add that in for yourself. You can actually choose a manufacturer that you get this item from. Now we've added multiple people here, but that doesn't mean these are the people that you're going to get this from. So you could just write it as a floral wholesaler, then you'll know. But if you have a specific one, you can add their name. And that name, again, you're going to go to customizable field under the inventory, and we can add a manufacturer name and change it. The relationship, oh, I skipped an important one, guys. Source. This is the super important part because the source is what is this item? Is this perishable, rental, inventory, non-inventory? Whatever it is, this you want to choose for sure because your reports, your markups, everything is connected with this. Now, it's already been done for you, but in case something's not been done for you or you want to change it, this is where you're going to change it. Then the next thing is the material. Again, shape material, not as important. Stem per bunch, manufacturer, bunch price, and the wholesale price. That is super important. So we're going to review that. So once you add how many stems come in a bunch, sometimes I do get 5 stems in a bunch, but typically I can get 10 stems for agapanthus. How much am I paying for this bunch typically? So I can say $20, I can say $18, depending on your region. You can change that price and it will automatically calculate the wholesale price. But if you write down the $3, it is not going to do the reverse for you. You must. So if you want $3 to show up, you must enter the bunch price because we said this was by bunch. Now, if I do this by per item, notice the bunch went away and stems per bunch, it's perfectly fine. So you can go ahead and just write down $3 and it's going to create your order by stem and not by bunch. So it is important to understand the relationship when you're starting to change it. So I'm going to go ahead and add this back to what I had so we don't have any issues. The next line is if this is a perishable item, obviously it's a cooler, but there are certain things like mums or anything that can really stay outside like bird of paradise. You can say cooler or outdoor or something else near the sunny window. Whatever it is, the instruction you want to tell your team, you can put that in. What is the markup? Now you can change markup per item here, just like that. 3.5 is $3.50. Typically you don't have flowers on hand, so you always want to say 0. You can see the size, item care, loading instruction, all of these things, which works with our report. And when is this product available and the description. The last thing is the colors. You want to associate no more than 2 to 3 colors because the more you do, the crazier it's going to get for you. And then as far as the image is concerned, I'm going to download this first before I delete it. So give me a second so I can show you what I mean. All right, so if there is no image, you can go to our library. And if you have library images that you've added, go ahead and choose an image from the library or choose an image from internet. And let me click done. And then you can drag and drop the image just like that. And don't just save from this point. You do need to click on this arrow to upload the image and make sure it says on the bottom, upload success before you click save. Otherwise, it will not save your image. So that is how you edit the inventory. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you how to add a brand new inventory. So let's say you have a mirror and you may look for it in our system and there is no mirror. You can go ahead and say, oh, I want to add a mirror. So you can say mirror, and what category is this? This is a decorative item, or is it a prop and a decor? Whatever you want to put it under, you can put it under. So let's go ahead and right now do prop and decor. And then within the prop and decor, nope, that does not work for me. So I can say decorative items. So within the decorative items, I can perhaps say it's a signage because, or it's in a scorecard table or vintage item, whatever it is. It is per item. And then I'm just going to say it is a decor. I can associate a shape with it, which is good. So I can say rectangle. I can say this is going to be a rental item or a non-rental item, unless you're going to give this away to the client. You can choose to write down a wholesale price. So you can say you bought it for, I don't know, $100. It's a small mirror, but you're going to rent it for $50. And then you have 2 of these mirrors, and you can say, where do I find this item in my warehouse, in my studio? So I can even say, if I'm a studio-based, garage on the far left. Or I can say warehouse, blue rack, or black rack, whatever the racks colors. I happen to have blue racks, so I always remember blue racks. You can write the size so your team knows what they're looking for. When is this available? How do you want to care for this item? So you can say wrap it in a moving blanket or bubble wrap. And then you can say don't add anything heavy on top or the glass will break. You can even say, cover with a cardboard, whatever works for you. Same thing with the loading instructions. Go ahead and add whatever you want to. And then the color, you can say, yeah, it's a gold mirror. And it's mercury gold, has that look. And you can just say done. And you can find a mirror from the internet. So for example, if I say mirror, and I found an image, and I say, okay, it's kind of like this. I'm just choosing something, you guys. And I take a screenshot, or you save an image, whatever works for you. So I'm going to just go ahead and, okay. Well, I'm just going to take an image of this one. And then you can drag it and drop. And then be sure to upload the photo. And then you're going to save. Perfect. Now you're going to have this item in your inventory. So let's go ahead and take a look on how that looks. So we can see our mirror item. And if I do the grid view, I can see that item. And if I click on it, I can read all my information. So that is how you add a brand new item. And that is how you import our inventory. There's quite a bit, fabric, a little bit of rental items, arches. So go through what you need, import what you need, and then go from there. Let me show you next step is how to customize if you wanted to change those drop-down fields. So for example, we wanted to add a mirror here. So we know that we are into decorative item and there's no mirror. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So I'm going to go to customizable field, and then I'm going to inventory. And then within the inventory, I'm going to the inventory category because I have decorative item. And then in the decorative item, I did not have a mirror. So I'm going to go ahead and add a mirror. And I'm going to say it is per, nope, not per stem, per item. And it does not matter to me where this is going to show up, but I'm just going to click save. Now I am going back to my inventory. And let's do inventory, and then my mirrors here again. And now actually I can change it to mirror, which showed up here. And now I organized it the way I want. So when you're looking at the inventory at this level, color palette, do not change it. you can rename the color, but do not change the hex codes on these colors. They are already working with our highly customized inventory. If you plan to use our inventory, if you plan to use your own, by all means, delete them, do whatever you want. But if you plan to use our data, we recommend do not delete any of the colors or change the hex code. And what do I mean by changing the hex code? If you click on this, these are the hex codes. They are related to the inventory, so do not do that. Add anything else that you want, come up with a creative name, and shorter the name, the better it is. The longer the name, it looks messy on the front side. Next thing is the element. So if you guys remember, we added mirror. Now I can say that's a decorative item. So for example, I want all my decorative item to be found fast under one category. So it's like in the closet, organizing your clothes by dresses, shirts, or pants, or shirts, or belts, however you do it. So add as many elements as you want, and if the elements do not apply to you, by all means, turn it off. So for example, this agapanthus is done twice, turn it off. You also have a choice. How many times do you design with agapanthus? So if you say, I don't want to display this on a lead capture form, go ahead and turn this off, but leave it external and click save because we still want to use this item. Next thing is the inventory category, which we just did. Inventory shape, we've preloaded you with a lot of the information. You won't have to do this. Manufacturer, you can add as many manufacturers as you want. Add email, business phone number, and in future, we'll have a lot more happening with our manufacturers and how they interact with our reports. Material is, we've added as many materials as we quickly thought of, but I'm sure there's a material that you guys are familiar with and you can add that in here. Source, do not touch it because it is interacting with our inventory. If there is a different type of source, by all means, go ahead and add, but this is something you don't need to touch. I hope on the customization, the inventory helped you. And now I want to show you quickly how it works in the recipe. So I'm going to go to a project and I'm going to go to Jackie and John's event. In the project worksheet, in colors and elements, those are the colors that we saw. If I choose these colors and I say done and I choose the elements. So for example, there's a Ganesh, but I'm going to take care of that. And let's go ahead and add maybe a still bee. And these images you can change on the element, but these are not like the color of the still bee, but it's just indicating it's the word still bee. And if you don't like images on Canva or something, you can simply create an image with a name and it will show up simply like this. If you add these colors and elements here, they also show up on the proposal. But the amazing thing about this is that on the design board, if you choose your colors and elements, you can populate almost all your inventory accordingly. So any colors, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this gold just to show you and repopulate that. It's going to get rid of probably one of the roses. There you go. You can start seeing that it's only in that color palette you can design with all these flowers, and the still be showed up on the bottom as well. Okay, now I'm heading down to the recipe section, which is here. In the recipe section, you can add recipe by choosing the inventory right here. So it does take some time because again, it is very, loaded, information heavy. So it takes a little time to load. Just be patient with it. Now you can search for a item. So we're going to search for our mirror that we just added. So you can see how it works. I'm going to click on the box and I'm going to say done. If you did already make a recipe, you can still say done, go to recipe and choose one of the recipe and then say done. It will still add into the recipe at the same time. You can also use that inventory that we just populated from the color and element, and you can choose an item and add into the recipe. So let's go ahead and look at the mirror. So in the mirror, if I want to say, I want the client to see this mirror on the proposal, I want to click on that image. So you can undo that because it allows you up to the 6 images. Let me undo that. There we go. If I want to learn more about this item, I just have to click on it. I can read the information so I know what's going on. And I believe we had said we have 2 of them and it's a rental item. So here's the next piece I'm going to show you guys. If you decide that you want to charge more for this mirror, you can change the price. You can increase it, lower it, whatever you need to do. Oh, okay, I'm doing it too fast. Here we go. Slower is better. And then the markups obviously doesn't matter because it's rental item. Now watch, this is one mirror. And if I check on my rental item availability, I don't have any flag. It tells me that this is the event that I'm using this item. Now, it tells me I have 2 on hand. If I add, number 1, let's say I need 3 of these mirrors because we're going to use 3 for the scorecard tables. Now if I go up here, it will tell me that I'm out of stock 1 and automatically this turned red. So that is your flag and that should give you, hey, something's wrong here and there's a flag here. So take a look, click on the item, go over here, check it. So it's flagging your inventory and it does the same thing. So if you use this mirror same day in another project, it's also going to flag. Not only it's going to flag, but it's also going to tell you the name of the project that it's being used in. So this is a lengthy but very educational video on how to import inventory from TrueClient Pro, how to add your own inventory, how to change the data, how to customize it, how to use it, and work with it. There is one more thing I'd like to show you guys quickly. Once you have all those items and recipes, because they're inventory, we have a lot of reports it works with. So the ordering reports with the bunches that I showed you, it works with the project summary of order. What that does is it creates a CSV file for you and it does the math for you to increase your profit. I'm waiting for it to pop open. Okay. If you noticed here, it says quantity to order by bunch, quantity needed by stem, and stem not used. And this is in a Excel file for a reason. We want you to manipulate this data the way you need it before you send it to your wholesaler. You can sort it right here by perishable item, which we know are your flowers. The other items does not matter. You have the colors. It also has by bunch. So you can see anatomy is by bunch 10. So if you need 27, it's telling you to order 3 bunches. It's also telling you that you have 3 stems left over. So let's take a look at this where we have a high number of stems left over from the recipe. It's telling me I have 21 garden roses left over. That is my loss. So maybe I want to go and adjust a recipe where I am not using the extra 4 stems somewhere, maybe the bridesmaid's bouquet. So I can lessen one of them and maybe I can use, one of the other rows to adjust the recipe and increase my profit. Okay, so that is how it helps from the inventory stems and bunches. Number 2, where it helps me is, give me a second, is the pull list. If you marked your item rentals or hard goods, it creates a list from the recipe along with the image, item name, color, location, because we said warehouse blue rack and how many quantities I need, and then description. If I added any of that, it will show up here. So this way you're empowering your team to do some of the work so you have more time to do consulting or to be with your family. Now, prep list, you do have to populate the report when you're in the recipe. So here, prep list, and go to the list. Oh, this has already been populated by me. That's awesome. So let's go ahead. All you have to do is click on the populate button, And let's go ahead and take a look. What this is going to do is if you have a new staff member who does not know flowers well, and they are helping you create and you're working remotely, they can just take a look at this report and read how to care for this flower. So even though we've preloaded you and you have a specific way of them doing something, you can have them take a look at these reports. And that is, oh, one more. And that brings us to project cost report. Because we added the price and we added those items in the recipe, at this point, it can give you a guesstimation of how much this project is going to cost you based on the prices that you've added, not only by stem, which is important to understand that if I use just these stems, it's going to cost me $824. But because you're a florist and you have to buy from a wholesaler, you're actually spending over $1,000, close to $1,100. So you're wasting money in between. So this is where it will help you understand why is there a huge gap, and you want to close that gap and learn to make better recipes. And that is where this is going to really be helpful. I am so glad I had the opportunity to walk you through not only importing the inventory, to add your own inventory, customize inventory, add to the recipe, and work with all these reports to increase your profit and make your business very efficient.